Hey, what is up everybody? My name is Rahul and in this video we'll be looking at a challenge called Use After Exit. Now the NahamCon EU Capture the Flag competition is finally over. So the good thing is that we get to look at the write-ups. Now this was a challenge that I was not able to solve along with other challenges, and this challenge already has about 18 solves, so this was quite a challenge to look into. Challenge description says that it is as easy as it looks, isn't it? Now before we move to the POC part, let's just go through the source code. So let me just turn on my intercept, hit enter, send this to the repeater tab, and we are good to go. Now this expects a post request. As you can see, this has been defined, so this endpoint will be sending a post request to this, and will be submitting, it should have a value or a parameter called submit. So this is the first part. The second part is it expects a file. The file will have a file name as usual. It can be URL encoded because it is going to be URL decoded on the backend. This is quite simple. Again, there is a temporary path which is created for the same file, and the thing is that the file should contain the .jpeg extension, because if it does not, it will return us invalid file name at the end, and it will just exit the program or exit the function. But if we have the .jpeg extension in the file, what it will end up happening is it will take the contents from the file that we just uploaded. It is going to execute it, keep the output in the all content variable. It will open up our very file that we uploaded in the write mode, and it will place all the output that was executed in here in the file itself. Now here is the chronology. We upload the file. The file contains the extension called .jpeg. Once it has the .jpeg extension, it is going to get all the contents, execute the contents, and keep the output back into the file. So this seems quite easy. So let's just try to execute this. Change request method. Let's just say submit is equal to true, and it says invalid file name. So why did this happen? Because we did not supply the file name and the file contents. But how do you exactly supply file contents in this type of request? Because you cannot just say file name is equal to xyz.jpg, but where will the actual content go? So in this type of in this way, you cannot actually upload the file. So how do you upload the file? I was looking into this, and one thing that struck my mind was using content disposition or the multipart form data content type. So I just typed in content disposition, and the developer.mozilla.org website threw this at me. So this is how you can also upload the parameters, which in our case will be submit, along with the file and the file name and the file contents. So this is a very good method in which you can actually make your server interpret and at the same time send multiple things at the same time. So let's just send this, but there are two content types. Let's just remove one because we do not want any issues, and let's just keep this as submit. Let's just remove this for now. Control Command X and paste it in here, and let's just replace this as submit, and let's just hit send. Again, it says invalid file name. Why did this happen? The reason why this happened was we did not have the .jpeg extension. So let's just say example 1 2 3 4 or example 1 2 3 and hit send. Again, it says invalid file name for some reason. Okay, the reason is we have to name it as file because of this. Okay, so it says done. Very good. Let's just send this to repeater again, change the request method, and let's just fetch our file, which was example 123.jpg. and as you can see, this is the exact output. Why did this happen? Because this was fixed from before, which is this, and our content was value 1, which as you can see right here. So let's just see how you can bypass this. First of all, let's just see if we can bypass the filter, and we'll end up bypassing it, as you can see right here, because it just sees that it should have an extension, it should have the .jpg in it, and it does not actually care where we keep the .jpeg in it. So here what we can do is, because every file should have a content type, because how will the server understand that um, are we are supplying in a file and what its content type will be. So it should have a content type in itself. Content type application PHP, and let's just make a simple sweet payload. Cool, let's see. So let me just send this. It says done. That's cool. And once we go to this endpoint dot php, hit send. It says unexpected token. So let's just see if I can type in ls, and again it says unexpected end of file. That's cool. So how do we end up executing this payload? So what we can try to do is, there are two things. Let's just see if we can either encode this somehow and use wrappers. So one of the ways in which you can bypass some of the filters or other things that the developer has applied is using filters or wrappers, so to say. So there is a wrapper called base64 encode and decode. So let me just copy this part out. So you can just type in file inclusion and you'll have payload all the things. So let's just say payload all the things file inclusion, and this is where you can actually get this wrapper. So there are a lot of wrappers that are used in PHP, so we'll be using this one. So what we have to do is, let's just change this to XML. We can change this encode to decode, but in reverse what we will have to do is we will have to convert this into base64. So let's just encode this into base64. There's a plus that might cause issues. Well, let's just try with this repeater. Okay, so what is happening here is we have used a wrapper or a filter. So it will take our payload, which I think is something has got something wrong. Let's just see. It'll take a filter, it'll take our payload, it will base64 decode it, and then it end up executing it. Let's just see. It says done. That's cool. And let's see. Again, there is some issue with our payload. So I've faced these issues very often. So for this reason, what I've done is I have made I've copied this request, but also we do remember that our payload, our file name was URL decoded. So let's just also keep this in mind, and let's just try to encode this into URL, copy this entire part out, and paste it in here. Maybe that is causing the issues. Who knows? Again, it says done, and let me just copy the file name, which was this repeater. And there we go. So there we have our remote code execution. So thank you guys. This is it for the video.